So in this video, I want to show, I've been meaning to make a video like this for a while. It's using Carestream's 3D, CS3D imaging software, and it's going to be pushing a setup, like a patient information over to BlueSkyPlan. I've been meaning to record a video like this for a while, just haven't had a chance to get it done. So hopefully this is helpful for anyone that's looking at how to use these softwares together, or possibly looking what CBCT unit they might want. I won't go through all the reasons why I chose the Carestream imaging setup, but I'll explain that this integration is one of the big reasons. It's also the quality of image. You're not really going to find cleaner images, very likely. There's a lot of metal in this patient's mouth, and the scans come out really clean pretty much every single time. It's very consistent. So I'm really happy with the software. There's certain things I would maybe do differently, but for the most part, it works really well. So this is not a case I've practiced, in the sense that I don't know how well this is going to turn out, and every case can be a little different. So, but I'm going to show you how I would walk through this case. So we've got this cone beam, and we also have an intraoral scan, and I'm going to show you how we're going to integrate that in just a moment. So first things first, it might bring you up in the orthogonal slicing. I really don't use that. I've actually set my software to default to this curved slicing tab. And so now one of the things I'm going to do is I want to optimize this pan curve. This is auto-generated. Sometimes it's really good, but for the most part, I'm usually customizing it. And so for this patient, we're dealing with a broken off tooth number 4, an upper right second premolar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this plane up to that area, and because I'm going to optimize the curve, the panoramic curve for that spot, so everything just flows a little more nicely. If I'm working on a lower implant, I'll just slide it down there and then optimize it there. So you'll see what I mean in just a moment. So once it's centered here, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to click on this button right here, and it's going to warn me, are you sure you want to do this? Yes. So now I can click, double click. There's no perfect way to do this. I try to do fairly symmetric, or at least like anterior posterior, to consistency, if you will, and then double click at the last one. And so now it's created a new pan curve, and you can see the width of this. I can dial this down. It's very wide by coming over here, and I can say, nah, I just want it at 14.8, and do whatever you want with that. But really what I'm going to do is I'm going to be looking at this tooth up here, and I haven't even looked at the scan. I just spoke with the patient, know about the sinus proximity. It's got a dilacerated root, so it should be a fun, interesting case. But I'm not going to spend too much time talking about case planning for a case like this. I'm really going to kind of pretend it's a really simple case, and maybe I'll have to go back after the fact to customize a little bit for the actual case specifics. So anyway, I want to get over here. I can just grab a hold of this little slider and bring it over, and I can align it, which is really nice about this software compared to at least some other softwares. Maybe more and more have that ability, but I can change the angulation to try to line it up right along with this tooth. And you can see that she fractured off the lingual aspect, and she does have a buccal plate, or a palatal plate here. It's just really thin looking. So, and that might affect our ability to place the implant. Might not. We'll see. But again, for now, we're just going to pretend it's going to be, an ideal situation. So let's click on this button right here, and it's to add an implant. And I could skip this if I wanted. I could wait to get into BlueSkyPlan and do all that, but it's pretty easy workflow. So I'm going to click right here, and then I'm going to click right here, and I say, okay, that's the apex. So what kind of implant can I use from that? And I've added the implant options that I want to use in here. Bicon is one of them, and next, I can close this down, or scroll down. I want to get down to the BlueSky Bio, and I want to look at maybe the 4.3 by 8. I think that's probably a good option here. There's also the 4.3 by 8 regular platform, but this premolar 4.3 by 8 sounds about right. It is the old schematics. This is not the way these implants are designed anymore, and that's okay. It doesn't really matter for this, but I do want to caution you about that. They need to update their libraries, but again, it's going to work pretty well for us here. So now I can come over here, and I can maximize this window by clicking on this little kind of fill screen, and you'll still have all these over here, so you can still kind of navigate around, but it just prioritizes this window. And so now I can grab a hold of the implant by grabbing this little circular node here, and really kind of following right along that implant, or that root, and just kind of check back and forth. There are ways to do sort of like a spinning rotational view, but you have to go into the custom slicing, and I'm not going to worry about that right now. Let's go ahead. Let's see about. Nah, I don't want to mess with it. I'm going to skip that. Sorry, guys. Sorry if, I just want to kind of make this, I don't want to spend too much time. I want to be just kind of talking about the general workflow. So anyway, you can see the implant here. We can move it a little bit more mesial if we want. But anyway, so now we've got this. And honestly, I'm going to do most of my planning in the other software, in BlueSkyPlan anyways. But for patient communication, I can say, so this is where the implant's going to go. I could go ahead and add a tooth. I'm not going to bother with that, but it's pretty, for me, I don't use that in communication, but I do like to show where it is, and I can also determine, okay, this is going to need a sinus lift, this is not going to need a sinus lift. I have a feeling this one will need one, and that's fine, but, we'll see for that for now. One of the most important thing, though, is that I do want to do is I'm going to click on this button right here, which is going to allow me the opportunity to bring in this scan that I took of her mouth. And it's not perfect, but it's got what I need. These yellow areas are basically areas we didn't get a lot of data on. Doesn't matter because this is going to be my path of insertion. So who cares about any undercuts that weren't captured? Click align, and I didn't even get a lower scan because being right between these two teeth, I'm just not worried about needing that. I can look at this view and I can say that the angulation is a little bit off. I'll need to change the angulation of this implant a little bit. But now I can look and see, okay, how well did this align? And I don't care if it's perfect because I'm going to have a chance to optimize it, but it does give me a pretty good idea of what I'm dealing with. You can roll through the various slices over here and you can kind of, see, is this, how well aligned is it? And it's pretty good. It's not perfect. I will say that BlueSkyPlan does a superior job, which is great because I'm going to be going over there anyways, but it gives me a quick little idea of what I'm working with. If you want to add a tooth, you can add the tooth, and that will push over to the software as well, but I don't really do that. I'm going to go ahead and finish up here. So what I've been able to do is to explain what the biggest advantages in here is the fact that I had the CT, I brought in the colored image, I can take a look, I can plan my implant, do this all chair side. I can do this with the patient if I want. I don't do that personally a lot, but I know some people really like that ability. So if you want to do it, it's easy to do. If I want to focus in on this implant, I'm going to do this. And I just remembered that what I wanted to do was change the angulation of this a little bit. And to do that, I'm going to come over here and I want to grab this little node right here and tip it in. And I'm actually looking down here in this view. So let's go ahead and make them both the same size so I can see that it's kind of coming right down the middle of where that central pit's going to be, or central groove is going to be now. Anyway, once again, I'm kind of getting a little picky, easy for me to do. So now I've talked to my patient, I've explained, see, this is where the implant's going to go. We're going to do a sinus lift. Here's where the, align the model, bring that all in. Don't have to export models and bring them through STLs and everything and export the DICOM, because right from here, I can click right down on this button. When I click here, it's going to open up BlueSkyPlan. Now, bear with me for a second because I'm working on my secondary monitor. I'm not sure if it's going to open up on this screen or my other one. So, well, I think it is going to open up here. I believe because I was given a course last week, and so I was running everything through this monitor. Oh, it didn't. It came to their screen. Unfortunately, I don't know if I can drag it right now. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to. So I'm going to show you what pops up. It pops up the normal screen with this as well to confirm, is this what you want? I can't drag both windows. The software, the screen won't let me. So I'm going to click on this. Click OK. And now it's going to load it in BlueSkyPlan. This is the little screen that's popping up. If you're used to BlueSkyPlan, this is the little loading screen. Once it's actually loaded, I'll be able to bring the primary software window over to this monitor so you can see it. It doesn't really matter. It's just the home screen where it shows you the different modules listed. All right. It's loaded, but it's loading, I should say. Okay, so I'm just going to drag this over here, and there we go. So here's all it's all loaded. I got to get rid of all these. Give me a second. Okay, so now we can see this all. Now the first thing I do is I told you the alignment's not perfect, so I'm just going to come over and I'm going to make sure that I'm on. Right when it brings it over, there's an implant surface So don't need to see that. And then the model. And then in the actual list of implants, there's also an implant. So it kind of duplicates. I don't know why, but whatever. In fact, I can go ahead and just delete that. The implant's still there. So if I want to actually align this properly, I can come down here, and sometimes this works perfectly, sometimes it doesn't. I can show you how to fix it if it doesn't, but I can just click automatic. And let's make sure it's selected as maxilla. Click on Mac. Let's see what we get. Kind of hope we don't get a perfect one, because I'll show you how to fix it if it's not. But if it is, great. I'll tell you that if it's not perfect, I just use the this one right here, the 2 teeth. Let's see if it shifts. Oh, maybe it did shift and I just didn't notice it. Well, if you're watching this video, maybe you noticed it, or you can go back and rewind. Let's just kind of see. Yeah, the alignment on this is better than it was, so it definitely shifted. So I guess I just missed it. But yeah, now we got a nice alignment, nice stitch. Not perfect. You can see it's a little bit wonky right back there, but not going to affect surgery in this case. Buccal lingual is not the problem in this case. Mesial distal is. So now we're into the software. So I can go ahead and start customizing things I want if I want. If I need to extract this tooth, which I don't in her case because the crown already broke off, I'm already in the model editing phase, so I can come into the model edit and start deleting things. And I'll usually go into surfaces and I'll duplicate the model, and then in that duplicate I'll cut off the tooth, and so I can make my surgical guide. So I'll go ahead and finish this up. Might as well. You can stop watching if you want here, but I'm just going to show you how to design a case real quickly. Yeah, so let's go ahead. We're in advanced, and let's take a look at our implant. If I double click on it, it'll pop up that panel over here. Let's turn on our guide tube. I'm using the custom kit. Here's all the settings I like to use. I'm going to use the 10.5 millimeter offset. You could use the 8.5 on this case probably, but I actually like the 10.5. I'm not going to go into all that right now, but I do. Now it looks to me like I need to go deeper because I'm actually kind of supracrustal interproximal in the distal here. So I'm gonna have to go deeper. Now let's unlock this implant and let's shove it up to where we need to be. You can see where her bone is right here. It looks like non-existent, but it's there. And it's going to be a fun surgery with that dilaceration, with that sinus, so we'll see how that goes. I'm actually probably going to use my Versaw, my Densaw drills to widen that apex out. Or I will use my regular drills and spin them in reverse. And that's not me advocating for that. I've had good luck with it, and I will tell you that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, because I think I can fit right in there. It won't be a problem. I'll probably run my first drill to length normal, and then I'll run my rest of my drills in reverse. And it should be a pretty straightforward surgery. But yeah, everything is pretty much set up. I've got all my dimensions over here. Implants where I need it to be. Let's go ahead and lock it. If you want to add an abutment, you can. And I like doing that just from a visual perspective. I will admit that I've kind of merged over to doing custom abutments more and more simply because I have the ability in Office, and that's kind of cool, but it's not necessary. These tie-based solutions have worked really well for me over the years, so yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and make our guide. We've got our guide tube, we've got everything, that's all locked. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the CT image, maximize this window. Move this around a little bit. Let's go over to the guide panel. Let's say we're going to define our insertion axis. I like to find the implant, put it right in the middle of the screen. Kind of try to optimize my view from here and just say define insertion from view. And now look at all the blockout areas. Looking good. And now let's go ahead and draw our curve. I've now begun just clicking. I don't know if I've mentioned that in another video. I actually noticed Michael Saltzman, we were doing some testing of the software, and I just saw him clicking. I was like, are you kidding me? I don't know at what point we were able to start clicking rather than drawing, and someone's probably going to come on and comment and say, oh, I've been doing that for years. Well, good for you. I haven't. I've been drawing and then changing the nodes around for, oh, geez, coming up on a decade of using the software. So, yeah, actually I'm going to leave that here because I like to have, and I'll drag that one down. Okay, yeah, I don't like lines that are interrupted. Okay, so we're pretty good here. A little finicky about BlueSkyPlan is I want to, I can add a window. I knew that was going to happen. Sometimes I can't get it to add a window unless I create the guide and then I try to add the window. Whatever. I had a feeling because I was recording the video it wouldn't happen, because I was going to send this to Michael if that happened so he could see what I was experiencing. So of course it worked without a problem. That's how it goes. All right. And maybe I was planning on my laptop. Maybe I am running a different version of the software. I don't know. All right, I just like to have one little window in the anterior because I'll see the teeth fitting down right there. I can be pretty picky about this just because I get really, I think it's tedious. I mean, I just like having it look exactly the way I want. So if I look from the inside, I can kind of see, all right, I want it like this, and right to the incisal ledge, and there, we're good. So I'm going to hit create surgical guide. I'll pause. Okay, so this is done. Got my little window. I can label the guide wherever I want. And I'm going to call this DT 4, and it is 4.3 by 8. Zoom in a little bit. I like to engrave my labels. In fact, I'm actually going to put this right here. It's just me being picky about printability. It will probably print anywhere, but I'm just going to go ahead and put it there because technically that's a superior spot. Not dramatically superior, but slightly. Okay, and create my report. Screenshots. I'm going to go ahead. Actually, I like to minimize this. I want to turn on the rendering. Transparent bones. And this is just the view I like to see. It's pretty. And let's get a drill report. And we're going to say PDF, and I'm going to save this. And I'm also going to note right down here in the notes section, offset 10.5. That tells me I need to use a 10 millimeter drill for this 8 millimeter implant, and then use the second line on the insertion tool. Okie doke. I'm gonna save this. Bear with me. Sorry, I know this is kind of boring to watch. DT4. Oh. All right. Sorry, my picky ways of saving things just keeps me from losing track of things. TD4 guide report. And I always export this because I can attach this to the patient's chart, so when the day of surgery comes around, I can open it up in any patient chart or right in the op. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, guide panel. I'm going to go ahead and save this surgical guide. Yes, I do want to be charged for it, or I'm accepting to be charged for it. Okay. Yep. And that's just processing. And then last but not least, I ought to save this. And that's about it. So hopefully this video is helpful. It's saving right now, but now you can see the nice features of using Carestream imaging, because I can plan it in front of the patient, figure out where the tooth goes, and then when I can open it up, have my one of my assistants or me later go on to actually design the perimeter of the guide and be out of here. So anyway, yeah, Carestream imaging. I'm a big fan of this unit. This is the 9600. This is just a 10 by 10 scan, but it can take a much larger scan if needed. And I can get the whole head for ortho and stuff. It's massive. The CS8300 takes a scan about this size, and so if this is all you need, then the 8300 would be great. It's the same kind of quality scanner, pretty much. They're awesome scanners. So, just an opinion, but I think it's a fairly well experienced opinion. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this video is helpful. Make sure you check out my other videos on YouTube at YouTube/BaronGrutterDDS. You can check out my website at bgrutterdds.com. Actually, my YouTube might be bgrutterdds. I can't remember, but you're watching this video, you should see it at the bottom. Also, check me out on Facebook and Instagram at BaronGrutterDDS. If you want any courses, I've got courses online on my website. You can come into a hands-on course where we design guides, design aligner cases, and whatnot, and work on 3D printing and such. And also, I've got some online courses available as well. Just check out my website. Thanks so much, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye for now.